Alright, may as well weigh in on the latest bit of controversial media to make its way into the world. The latest season of Doctor Who premiered recently, this of course being the first season in which the Doctor is played by a woman, Jodie Whittaker. As you can imagine, in this day and age, there has been a lot of controversy surrounding this choice. Roughly half of the Doctor Who fandom has been saying it's about darn time the Doctor was played by a woman, and the other half have been thinking maybe this wasn't really an artistic choice so much as it was a political one. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The concern was that Doctor Who was being overtaken by social justice warriors, and the female Doctor was just a ploy to appeal to that crowd. So there's been quite a divide, with both sides fanning the flames. For my own part, I was concerned about this new season, but it had nothing to do with Jodie Whittaker. My concern stemmed from how the last few seasons of Doctor Who were atrocious. I mean, there's bad TV, and then there's the last few seasons of Doctor Who. Really, that downward spiral began midway through Matt Smith's run, but the last few seasons with Peter Capaldi were just terrible. And through no fault of Capaldi's, I want to make clear, Peter Capaldi was great as the Doctor. The fact that he was able to still give great performances based on the hack jobs the writers kept giving him is a testament to the man's talent. He was able to sell it in spite of the material he was working with, rather than because of it. And it's really too bad he didn't have better material, because, good lord, these last few seasons were awful. The plots were nonsensical. The plot holes were so big you could fit the sun through them without burning the edges. The dialogue was cringe-inducing. The characters were flat. It was just a mess. From start to finish, the whole thing was a mess. And even though I knew that the entire writing staff behind the scenes had changed, when Stephen Moffat left, he took all of his writers with him, basically, I was still worried that the new staff would not be able to save this series. You can be the most incredible surgeon in the world, but if you have to take out all of the patient's organs during surgery, that patient is very, very likely to die anyway. But we finally got the season premiere, entitled The Woman Who Fell to Earth, drawing, of course, from the David Bowie film The Man Who Fell to Earth. And it was okay. It wasn't a disaster, it wasn't a masterpiece, it was okay, serviceable, got the job done. First and foremost, let's address the elephant in the room. Jodie Whittaker is okay as the Doctor. She's only had the one episode, so we're not quite sure what personality she really has just yet. A lot of people are saying she's too similar to versions like David Tennant and Matt Smith, but again, it's only been one episode. I can say for certain that as of this first episode, she's not being portrayed as the woman. That's what I think many people were wondering about. Would the Doctor be defined by her gender, or would she still be the Doctor? Well, for at least episode 1, she's the Doctor. Yes, it is pointed out a couple times that she's a woman, but that's not really her defining characteristic. And to be clear, I think that's a good thing. After all, we spent decades trying to get more female characters in fiction who weren't defined as the girl, and looking at the pop culture landscape, a strong case can be made that we have achieved that. So at this point, it would be going backwards to have a female character defined as the girl. But then again, I'm a guy, what do I know, right? Anyway, that was the major point of contention. As for the rest of the episode, like I said, it was okay. The music was good, different from past versions, but very atmospheric, helped to set the mood. The performances were good across the board, about what you would expect from an episode of Doctor Who. The special effects were mostly kept to a minimum, but what we got was, again, standard for what you'd expect. The dialogue was good, harkening back to those early seasons of New Who where conversations were sharp and witty and quick. Not quite to the same level, but again, it's only one episode. The villain was kinda weak, I have to say. The villain was basically a more talkative version of the Predator who collects teeth instead of skulls and sticks them in his face for some reason. Not exactly very interesting, and I doubt many people will remember him unless he winds up coming back and becoming a recurring villain. Though, I really don't see how they could make that work and have him still be interesting unless they really go deeper into who and what he is. And again, there are some issues with the plot. For example, the alien hunter Dimshaw is on Earth killing people because he's supposed to ascend to the leadership role of his people, but in order to do that, he must come to Earth, find a specific human being, and bring him back to his world as a trophy. However, he's not supposed to bring any tools and weapons with him, and the giant ball of electric eel cables was something he sent ahead so he could basically cheat, find the human easier, and become leader that much quicker. So he's clearly not supposed to have this thing that tells him who his target is, but in that case, how is he supposed to find out which human he's meant to take back alive? I can accept that he's cheating, but I'd also like to know what he's actually supposed to do, and that's never really explained. Is he just supposed to keep killing people, and then he finds someone and thinks, yeah, he'll do? I don't think so, because there was a specific human in mind, but why that human of all people? Is it someone that wouldn't be missed? Is it someone who has a bright future ahead of them? I don't know. I don't think the show knows either. I also think it's stretching credibility to have us believe that a fully functioning sonic screwdriver can be constructed from random bits of material found on Earth. I mean, it's Gallifreyan technology after all. It's supposed to be so far ahead of every other life form that no one in the galaxy will ever come close to even reaching it. So how the heck was the Doctor able to make one out of scrap metal? So this new season of Doctor Who isn't off to the most graceful start, but again, it's only one episode. It has a chance to pick up as the season progresses. Then again, it also has a chance to stumble and fall as the season progresses. This premiere didn't turn out as poorly as the people predicting a disaster were expecting, but it didn't turn out as well as the people predicting a masterpiece were expecting either. In spite of all the hype, positive and negative, what we got was okay. Much like Godzilla Planet of the Monsters, opinions on it may very well depend on what comes next. So will this new season of Doctor Who be the horse that starts in last place but suddenly pulls ahead at the last minute to come in first? Well, appropriately enough, only time will tell.